Yo, we are back in the building. Has been a week. I know. I shouldn't have left y'all out here like this. Um, I was very busy. I'm not gonna blame it on autism. That's for sure. I'm not gonna pull a Jason Arday, but I had a lot going on, and I was just I was just strapped for time. But I'm back, and we're gonna go very hard for the rest of the month. Pause. And I'm going to give you every single thing that you deserve. And guys, we're going to go on a trip. Let me let you know that we are going on a trip. So your boy will be broadcasting live from an exotic destination. Um, I was today years old when I realized that Black British people were actually defending this now deceased fraudster, Jason Arday. Now, if you don't know who Jason Arday was, he was a Black British man who was celebrated and praised for being the youngest professor in the history of Cambridge College. Now, Cambridge is like the university of universities. It's been around for over 100 years, hundreds of years, I believe. And it's a really big deal in the UK. And Jason Arday was basically catapulted into stardom when he was hired as a professor at this college. Now, this guy who is autistic, he's on the spectrum, he's neurodivergent, made some pretty outlandish, preposterous claims. But in typical academic fashion, the new form of academia that we've all been subjected to, he was able to survive very serious accusations made against him by playing the race card. He was able to say he ran 600 miles in 12 days. First, he said he ran 600 miles in 6 days. Then he changed it and said that was inaccurate. I ran 600 miles in 12 days. He also said he was published. He published books that he never published. He also said he raised 1.4 million British pounds for like all these charities all by himself. Then he later came back and said, "Oh no, I had a lot of help. I was a part of all these different foundations and whatever." He was basically a fraud. And he was found, he was being accused of blatant plagiarism, stealing work from other professors and claiming it as his own. And because of these investigations, as the wall started closing in on him, right, he basically resigned from Cambridge. And after resigning from Cambridge, about 3 days or 4 days after resigning, because he knew he was caught, he ended up taking his own life. And I thought it was just a done deal. Guy got busted, guy killed himself, right? And that was the end of it. Well, I go over to my friend Dinah's channel over at Search for Uhuru, right? And I'm getting attacked by all this Black British who are basically saying the media killed him and he didn't commit suicide and the accusations against him were false and everyone's lying on this fraudster who made all these outlandish claims. And it really made me start thinking. In the Black community, we talk about generational curses, but damn that straight to hell. The only generational curse in the Black community is the inability for anybody to hold anyone Black accountable for anything they do, because there is a brigade of ignorant Negroes who will come to the defense of any Black person no matter what heinous act, crime they commit, no matter what type of academic blasphemy or offense that they commit, you have Black people who are absolutely willing to defend it. And I was the victim of that because as I highlighted the facts surrounding the death of Jason Arday, these Black British people were calling me every name under the sun. And I was only telling the truth. He's actually dead. He actually was found unresponsive and he's dead. So I don't know what you're talking about. Jason Arday is deceased. Yeah. He died August 14, 2026. Now y'all gonna keep him alive like y'all do Tupac, huh? He ain't really dead. He's still alive somewhere in Thug Mansion. This is what we do. But it just highlighted a greater point in the Black community. And it really gives you an insight as to why Black people are failing so miserably when it comes to the field of education. We're dealing with kids, no, not little kids. We are literally dealing with teenagers in high school who can't even read at all. And the ones who can read at like a third grade level. But it makes total sense when you look at situations like the case with Jason Arday, when you no longer have the ability to righteously criticize a person or a group of people because of the color of their skin. That doesn't empower those people. That doesn't help those people. That actually enables those people and it weakens them to the point where they are unable to function in normal society without trying to cheat. Part of the reason Black people were so successful in the past was because of racism. It wasn't because racism forced us to be better. It really wasn't that. A lot of it was we were under constant criticism from white folks and other racial groups, which pushed us to prove that we were as good, if not better, than everybody else when it came to certain things. Black America, we used to be a powerhouse in education. Now, all we are is a bunch of debtors, a bunch of people borrowing billions of dollars to go to these colleges. Most of us have no real applicable knowledge that we can use to build anything of our own, or we are just totally illiterate. And what's funny is, as you see Black women argue and scream and hoop and holler from the rooftops, how they're the most educated group and, oh yeah, we got the most college graduates. Ain't it funny how their kids are illiterate? Is that crazy? How does a group have the highest number of college graduates? They don't, but that's what Black women claim. But how is it that the Black female is doing so well educationally speaking, but at the same time the Black child is literally bottoming out in the field of education? Many don't even have basic literacy. That's all I'm asking. Something doesn't add up. But the reality is, these are the type of anomalies that present themselves in a community when no one is able to hold anyone accountable. You have all these inconsistencies that when observed at face value, they just don't make any sense, right? Comma classical, my brother. If the truth, I'm here. I'm not mad if you get a little chuckle, my brother, but it's just the truth. All these Black British people were attacking me on another channel today because I was telling the truth about the fraud that they all pumped up during COVID. This guy he represents what I like to call the dark side of DEI. That's why my voice is a little, rough, because I was over on another channel arguing with these people as they constantly interrupted me, but were unable to produce any facts that pointed to Jason Arday not being a fraud. They all they did was interrupt, disrupt, try to deflect, and obviously do what they do best, try to, in some way, shape, or form, make it about Black America. And the thing is, Black America has its own flaws. We got our own problems. Don't be trying to pin your fraudulent professor on us too. Now, from looking at this dude, you could already tell this dude is out of his mind. This guy's walking around with a full set of individuals in his head, like he's Mary J. Blige in the fucking 90s, right? Just looking crazy in the face and in the head, right? You look at this dude for 2 seconds, you know something's wrong with this dude. The lights are on, but nobody's home. He got that crazy eye. He got that buffalo eye, like they said on Friday. He got just crazy all in his face. He looks like this one girl who plays on my daughter's volleyball team, actually. She just got this crazy ass look in her eyes all the time. And the chick freaks me out. Tell me this dude, look at this dude and tell me who this dude look like. just say the first letter of her name.
I was going to say C, but it might be. Cardi,
No, that's weird. That's what I'm saying.
Blank stare.
Bro, facts. So this guy is crazy. So this dude, and this is what I'm talking about. There is not a creep, cretin, fraud, scam artist, shyster that Black people will not defend. Because this guy, even though it's sad and tragic that he died, it was his own doing. He did something wrong, and he wasn't man enough to just own it, so he ran and he took his own life. I don't really have remorse for bro. I just think it's real weak. And Black people, the Black unaccountability brigade, it sits on many waters. It's not just in America, it's an international body, and they are ready to jump up in defense of this fool, even after he humiliated himself. And if you want to be real, he hurt Black scholars all over the UK who already deal with challenges when it comes to their qualifications. And he made the whole body of Black scholars in the UK and in Europe look bad. But we're not going to call it out for what it is. We're not going to say, shame on bro, this is sad. We're going to defend him and say, those white people are lying on him. This guy has gone so far as to get other professors who happen to be white, who identified and pointed out his plagiarism, fired from Cambridge. So you go after buddy, hey, he a fraud. He out here plagiarizing people work. Bro getting you fired. Straight drop. He getting you fired. Hey guys, show some love. It's 102 of you in here so far. Please hit that like button, and we're getting straight into this.
I'm Professor of Sociology of Education at the University of Cambridge.
3 years ago, Jason Arday became the youngest ever Black professor appointed at Cambridge University, an 800-year-old institution.
Professor Jason Arday joins us now.
He was interviewed about the achievement on CBS News.
If I'm being absolutely candid and honest, not many teachers at school had any belief in me.
Now Arday has fallen.
Why would they have a belief in you, bro? You're a fraud. And you were exposed as a fraud. And instead of being a man and just owning it, you ran away. And then you killed yourself. This guy, right, the truth shall set you free. Kevin Watkins said it better than I ever could.
From Grace, accused of plagiarizing some of his academic writing and lying about claims he ran 600 miles in 6 days to raise money for charity. The scandal's front page news here in the UK, and the former professor of sociology of education has now resigned, saying in a statement that it should not be mistaken for an acceptance of the narratives that have surrounded him. Cambridge University says it's launched an investigation. There are now questions about Arday's autobiography, scheduled to be published this month. Holly Williams, CBS News, London.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to follow up on a pretty crazy story that is now turned tragic out of the UK involving woke black professor Jason Arday, who recently resigned. He quit his job at Cambridge University, okay, after being exposed as a liar.
Professor Jason.
So this guy quits. He says, "Oh, me quitting has nothing to do with the accusations. The accusations are unfounded. They're false." Then a couple days later, he kills himself, and then his family comes out. He just poor Jason. He just couldn't handle the pressure of the media scrutiny. No, Jason was a fraud. That's the issue. Jason was a fraud, and we need to call it out. And instead of black people joining together like Voltron, trying to form a defense perimeter around this fraud, you don't got a dog bro out like I'm doing. But at the same time, you could just tell the truth about the situation and just say it's sad that bro didn't have the mental capacity to handle the fact that he messed up. And maybe in some way, shape, or form, he could have redeemed himself. Like bro did run 600 miles in 6 days. Bro could have easily been a Kenyan track runner. He basically, if he was really able to do that, he could have dominated track and field for the next 30 years. The guy just was a liar. And he got caught. And when he got caught, like a rat, he went and ran into a hole and took his own life.
Look.
Welcome back. A wild story from across the pond. Cambridge professor Jason Arday, who critics have described as the face of DEI, resigned last week amid allegations of plagiarism and discrepancies in his academic record. The allegations, portions of his PhD thesis, were plagiarized. His resume listed roles, and universities say he never held those roles. He claimed to run 30 marathons in 35 days, and more than £5.5 million were raised for charity. It's a remarkable resume, if the claims were true. He also made this claim.
I learned to speak just before the age of 12, so I was 11. I learned to read and write when I was 18 years of age. Those milestones became quite significant. 12 years after learning to read and write, I gained a PhD, and then I ended up becoming one of the youngest professorial chairs in Cambridge's history.
But there's an irony here. Arday himself once argued, merit is overrated.
Meritocracy is it's great in theory, but in actual practice, it falls time and time and time again because meritocracy in itself is not equal. There is no equity in meritocracy. Only a small proportion or certain group of people from society benefit from meritocracy.
He's dead. I've just seen the news that Jason Arday has died. This is a man who has been, to my mind, directly killed by racism in this country.
So now we're entertaining this idea, and even people who are not black are now getting on this con or this grift, right? So now if you go kill yourself because you told a bunch of lies, you made up a bunch of phooey or baloney, and you can't handle the scrutiny, so you go kill yourself, now that's you being murdered by the UK media. This is the dumbest crap ever. Isn't it funny how when like the media is like riding Donald Trump or going crazy on like JD Vance or Charlie Kirk, oh, they could deal with it, they grown ass men. But then when Jason Arday deals with the scrutiny, he goes and kills himself. Oh, and now this is the media's fault. I'm telling you, the black community is doing nothing but producing a bunch of punks. Sorry. Right? The black community is producing the weakest men and women on the face of the earth. Because when you cannot be criticized or scrutinized without running off and trying to take your own life, you are weak. Full stop. You lied. Own it. If you're as good as you say you are, right? If you're as good as you say you are, then you could stand up to the challenges. If you are telling the truth, then you have nothing to worry about. But we know that Cambridge is just basically a sauce factory, right? Because what happened when someone who didn't even graduate college, like Charlie Kirk, showed up to Cambridge University? Bro cooked. He ate. Look, they ambushed Charlie Kirk. They invited him to Cambridge University they said to have a discussion about politics, right? Right? And when he got there, it was like 100 students and a bunch of professors who were trying to basically discredit Charlie Kirk. And he stood there. He said, I wasn't expecting this. Give me some water. Bro drinks the water and then proceeds to just annihilate every professor, every student who showed up to debate him. But black people will say, Charlie Kirk's weak. He was a racist. He's this, that, or the third. But he was stronger than this coward, Jason Arday, who got accused and couldn't stand up and say, no, I didn't. And here's the proof. Resigned and then ran into a hole and killed himself. I have no respect for that. I have no respect for that. And if you out here trying to defend it, something is wrong with you. He was a male, allegedly. Was he trans? Maybe he was trans. I don't really know. Let me see if he was trans. Was he trans? Ain't it fun? No, he was not transgender. He was a cisgender man who identified publicly as a black autistic man. He was married to a woman, allegedly, named Debbie McKenzie, and they had 2 children, allegedly. So he was married. So this guy literally took himself away from his children. Now that's bad. Yeah, I saw that James Baldwin debate. James Baldwin, yeah, dude was fruity too, but he was he was smart as hell. What I watched the James Baldwin documentary. It came out in theaters. What was it? I'm Not Your Nigga. I think it was called I'm Not Your Nigga. But Charlie Kirk straight cooked Cambridge. And when I saw that, I said, oh yeah, DEI is absolutely destroying our institutions. DEI is destroying our institutions. When you got someone who didn't even go to college, able to cook PhDs and so-called scholars, right? That tells you all you need to know. Shout out to my brother Azaziel in the building. Hey guys, bless your boy with some contributions if you can. I got a big trip coming up. Big trip. I'm a big trip. No. So I'm definitely, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely in the mood for a little donations. I'm asking for $5, $10 super chats. If you got it, bless your boy. If you don't, hit that like button. We take those likes just the same. We like those too. It's 134 of y'all in here. Let's all join hands and hit that like button. Hollow Purple is in the building. Bring Pam back. Woo! That's a hashtag, right? That's a hashtag. Let's go, Charlie.
Engages in a fiery and intense exchange with a perplexed Cambridge student. This showdown will leave you on the edge of your seat.
He said Trump would put Americans first and take them out of foreign conflicts. Should we see how that is going at the moment? Currently, Trump has just accepted a $400 million debt from Qatar, which we're assured is perfectly above board. Billions in arms are going to Saudi Arabia, which they're using to bomb and starve Yemeni children. Not sure how that's in the interest of the United States, but it might be in the interest of the $5.5 billion.
Guys never heard of the Houthis. I don't know how Trump starving Yemeni children is helping the United States. Guy has never heard of the Houthis.
Deal his failed sons are receiving. At the same time, this great president of peace has greenlit mass killings not just in Yemen, but in Gaza, where he greenlit an invasion called Operation Gideon's Chariot with the express aim of wiping out the Gazan population. You promised to put America first. Haven't you and your ilk sold America out?
Now, mind you, Charlie didn't even go up there to debate, but he's going to cook.
No. Well, I'm glad you have great intellectual substance and can answer. Because it's all the culture wars for you, isn't it? The second someone actually tells you what you're doing, which is red.
Can you calm down a little bit? Like, just a little bit? Pounding the table, you're all over the place. No. You want me to go piece by piece? Or would you like me to talk slower?
I think you can...
Number one, Donald Trump is convening a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Joe Biden gave them armaments.
That's going well, isn't it?
It's going well? Can you not interrupt me? Well? I allowed you to talk uninterrupted.
You're famous for not interrupting.
I haven't interrupted a single person here today. Can I speak uninterrupted, actually? Okay. He is convening a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. I believe we will see an end to that war. Number two, he's actually talking to Iran and discouraging Israel to strike the interior of Iran and has stopped many other international countries to do the same. Number three, can you give him credit for ending the Indian-Pakistan war?
Both of them said he didn't do that.
Well, hold on a second.
Let's go back.
No, that's important.
Russia, Ukraine.
Hold on, that's important.
Can I speak now?
Yes, but the Indian-Pakistan thing, you got to go deeper than that.
Charlie Kirk engages in a fight.
Donald Trump ended what, 10 wars? People are like, he said he was going to do this. He was going to put America first. This and that. Dude, I think ending wars is putting America first. Because all the wars that are fought, we somehow end up paying for them. The dude ended 10 wars and basically started one conflict. And everyone's like, oh, Trump is bombing. Like right now, the only people getting cracking is Russia, Ukraine still, but that's because the Zelensky, we found out that guy really didn't want peace. He just wanted more American money to flow into his country so him and the Ukrainian oligarchs could steal it. So that right there is a nothing burger. You got Trump getting cracking with Iran, and pretty much there's nothing else really going on right now. Versus 9 wars that were going to start when Trump came into office. These people, all they can do is interrupt you. Their way of defeating you is by not letting you speak. Good comment from Irvin 8403. DEI is destroying lives because those who are operating in it cannot live up to the expectation. 100%. DEI is like when a mother or father thinks their kid is better at something than they really are. Like if you ever have been a parent and you were the parent of a player, a sports player, you know, all the parents whose kids suck are like, it doesn't matter if you win or lose. It's how you play the game. And like all the parents whose kids are good are like, dude, it does matter if you win or lose. And your kid isn't playing the game very well. So they should be sitting on the sideline. See, DEI was created by selfish people who said, I don't care if we lose the game as long as my kid gets to play. Dude, you want your kid to be on the hockey team and he's in a fucking wheelchair. I'm sorry. Little crippled Timmy, he can do a lot of different things. He could even play basketball if he really wanted to. But there is no mechanism that allows him to play hockey from the seat of his throne. Do you understand that? But there are parents who are like, it doesn't matter. It reminds me of the people whose dogs get paralyzed and they freaking put the dog in the little hip cart with the wheels and the dog's fucking running around with the little wheelie cart. And then they take the dog to the dog park and the normal dogs knock over the wheelie cart dog. And they're like, hey, your dog's being rough for my dog. It's like, bro, no. The dog's being a dog. Your dog should have got put down years ago. But instead of putting him out of his misery, you want to let him roll around in this willy cart, shaming him, ashamed and humiliated. And now he can't run around with the other dogs. You want your wheelchair dog to do the shit that regular dogs can do. And from the moment you put him in that wheelchair, you should have understood that he will never be able to do what regular dogs do. He can't even chase his tail at this point. That's the type of people who push DEI. Let's be real. I can't believe we reached the point where people are siding with Putin. I mean, I don't care about Putin, but ultimately I would say, what has Putin really done to America? Nothing. One day, Hillary Clinton got on stage and told you that Putin was bad, and then from that point, you just start believing it. That's basically it. But ultimately, DEI is a curse. DEI is killing America, and DEI is doing what most things that hurt America do to the Black community. It's absolutely eviscerating Black America. If America gets sick, Black America catches the flu, catches pneumonia. There's this old saying, if America gets sick, Black America catches pneumonia. And that's exactly what's happening. DEI did a number on the country, but it is decimating the Black community because we have created this culture where you cannot righteously criticize or critique anybody who is Black, even if you're Black. It's like Black people have the designated people who you can criticize. And beyond that, you can't criticize anyone.
And to my mind, there is no other way of seeing it. I know many out there can't see it and won't see it, but a man is dead in this country, in the United Kingdom, because of overt racism. When is the media going to stop? When is the British press going to learn that their actions have consequences? In this case, a man is dead, a 41-year-old man.
So you're expecting the British press to hold themselves more accountable than Jason Arday held himself as an individual. That just doesn't make any sense. Bro, you lied. You committed plagiarism. If you did it, just admit it. There are many people who have committed plagiarism. They didn't run off and kill themselves and leave their children without a father. This guy was just a mental midget. He was a product of our society where men are told it's okay to be a weak little bitch and do things that hurt your family because it's all about your feelings. It's not about what's right and wrong. It's not about personal responsibility. It's not about maturity or any of the things that make our societies great. It's just about how you feel. And basically this brigade of ignorant people defending people who do wrong, whether it's like a killer, drug dealer, robber, thief, a professor who's engaged in plagiarism, a straight up liar, a con artist, right? A shyster. This brigade of Black people will defend this brigade of Blacks led by liberal women will defend anything under the sun without even a second thought. It's pathetic.
Is dead. His white counterparts, other academics, nobody has faced the level of scrutiny that he has faced.
Your harassment campaign was...
It's a terrifying position that we find ourselves in.
A Black professor who was the subject of a multi-year harassment campaign was found dead in his home. Let's get into it. Jason Arday, just 41 years old, was discovered at his South London home this afternoon. And at the time of this video, the police say his death is unexpected, but not suspicious. Now, his family immediately pointed to the ruthless and targeted harassment campaign that he has been dealing with since his historic appointment. They said that he was, quote, subjected to a campaign of sustained abuse, end quote, by detractors who, quote, would leave no stone unturned in their quest to undermine him, end quote. Now, they described him as a gentle, brilliant man who was simply too kind-hearted to withstand the torrent of misinformation, and the family is pleading with people to finally leave them in peace after years of relentless harassment. Now, Professor Arday's story was one of the most inspiring stories in modern British academia. Now, he was a child who was nonverbal until 11 and illiterate until 18, and he defied every expectation to become Cambridge University's youngest ever Black professor in 2023. Yet, instead of celebrating this, a mob of critics hounded him over unproven plagiarism claims and petty questions about his personal biography. Understand that a formal investigation by Liverpool John Moores University had already thoroughly examined and rejected the plagiarism accusations, fully upholding his PhD, but that didn't matter to his bullies who dug into his charity work and achievements for a purpose that had little to do with so-called academic integrity and everything to do with tearing down a Black man who dared to be in the position that he was. Now, when Cambridge bowed to public pressure and announced an internal inquiry based on vague new information, Professor Arday resigned, and he was heartbroken and stated that the relentless accusations, speculation, and public commentary had already taken an unbearable toll on him. And rather than standing behind him, the university's leadership wavered and threw him under the bus.
Yeah, they threw him under the bus by investigating the claims. And all you got to do is go to AI and you can bring up the claims that were made, and there's proof of the claims, like right here. In David Arday's PhD thesis, philosopher Nathan Kofnas published a Substack post claiming Arday's 2015 doctoral dissertation contained passages copied verbatim from the 2009 thesis of Paula Zwodziak-Myers, a researcher at Brunel University. Now, he plagiarized her work a bunch of times. You can go down and it'll show you a couple of examples of where he did it. Right here. Paula Zwodziak, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Paula Zwodziak-Myers. This is her writing from 2009. Page 269. Evidence gathered to inform this study relied upon the research participants' understanding, yada, yada, yada. Jason Arday, 2015, page 344. Evidence gathered to inform this study relied upon the research participants' understanding, blah, 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 right? The sentence initiates a paragraph where the surrounding discussion on research instruments and bias remains closely parallel. Analysis suggests this is distinctive prose, unlikely to be composed independently. Now, here's another thing he does and how they really caught him red-handed. The guy literally copied the bad punctuation of Zwodziak-Myers, right? So here on page 209, I don't know what it is, paragraph, in 2009, her writing from 2009, on page 1 and 2, discusses the nuances of reflective practice, the specific challenges faced by student teachers in action research. Arday reproduces these exact points and phrasing, but cites different sources, omitting Zwodziak-Myers entirely in this section. So he takes her words, right? But he doesn't give her citation. That's called plagiarism, because no one knows where you got that from. So it looks like you're trying to take credit for it. And he did it many, many times. See right here? Lifting citations and grammatical errors. This is what they're saying is like the most incriminating evidence against him. If you read her passage, she says, well, Zodiac-Meyer's thesis contains an unnecessary apostrophe in the plural word teachers, where she might have made a mistake or a typo, right? Or just put the apostrophe inside the quotes. Arday's thesis reproduced this exact grammatical error in the corresponding passage. He literally took the bad grammar along with the words from her. You know you're copying when you're doing that. Bro literally probably did some type of copy and paste. It's ridiculous. But I guess it doesn't matter because he's black. He's awesome. He's autistic. How dare you come for him? How dare you hold him accountable? The guy was a plagiarizer, a plagiarist. Then they say analysis identified more than 100 passages in Arday's 401-page thesis that were identical or nearly identical to Zodiac-Meyer's work. Approximately 14%, almost 15% of Arday's reflective practice literature review chapter consisted of exact sequences of 8 or more words found in the earlier thesis. Similar overlaps were found with a 2013 paper by April G. Douglas and a 2007 paper by Simiu Arday Jar Arday. Though the Zodiac-Meyer's case was the most extensive, the guy was stealing other people's work. He knew he would be exposed. And he got exposed, and he didn't want to deal with the shame, so he took his own life. Why can't black people just accept that for what it is? Bro's wild. But this guy, he was an embarrassment to the black community. Black people are very intelligent. We don't need to steal people's work. When I was in middle school, dude, I used to write poetry and everything else. My teacher will read it. This is great. This is amazing. Bro, I used to go to this thing called the Poetry Slam in LA back in the G. Bro, some of the most amazing poems you have ever heard or will ever hear in your life came from black people in that place. It's like, bro, why do we have to go and plagiarize Edgar Allan Poe? We don't. This guy is a moron. And when he got exposed, right, he literally did something even more moronic. Took his own life. Now his kids don't have a father. His wife doesn't have a husband, even though looking at this dude, he probably did her a favor. It's really dumb. It's really dumb. And it's even dumber for black people to try to defend this guy. This guy made a bunch of bad choices, but they were his choices. And for whatever reason, bro couldn't live with him. I'm not happy that he's dead. I actually would have liked to see him get called out, publicly and really taken the task. And he could have still got a teaching job somewhere. He probably wouldn't have been making what he was making at Cambridge, but he would have still been able to feed his family. Barnosphere, what's up, dude? But yeah, this is some pathetic stuff. Y'all.
Hi.
But so to stay in line with education, And this is really bad. This is really bad. Because it's like, it's in the same vein. Black kids,
extraordinary.
Black teacher recently broke down. He said the black kids ain't learning. They're not learning. A high school teacher has gone viral for breaking down in tears after realizing that his 17 and 18-year-old high school students are illiterate. He broke down in tears. The man just could not handle it. So let's give you a little evidence.
Read the index card for me.
She wore a suit, clothes that were extraordinary, but somewhat Gertrude.
Now explain what that means.
She can't even read it, bro. How you gonna do her dirty and ask her to explain what it means? She's cute. So if she could toot her ass up on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, and shake what her mama gave her, she never had to work that hard. All she got to do is, yeah, girl, the weave is laid. And I'm putting my booty up in front of the camera on Instagram like Pepe Le Pew. That's all a lot of these young black women think they need to succeed in life.
I don't know.
She wore a sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat gooch. What does that mean? She wore a lot. Wait, she wore, bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the...
And then they say, oh, this is fake. These kids messing up on purpose. These niggas ain't messing up on purpose. They can't read because they're not going to school to learn. And they're on their phones all day. And when you text them, they text in 3 letters that represent a whole sentence. LOL, laughing, LMAO, laughing my ass off. Spell it out, bro. Most of them probably can't even spell it out. Yeah, silhouette. Silhouette.
Card back, please.
She wore a, oh baby, she wore a silhouette of clothes that were, bitch, I don't know that word. I don't even know how to read. I don't know why.
They don't know how to read, but they sure can cuss.
That were extraordinary, but somewhat gosh. All right, now what does that mean? I have no idea. Like his clothes is nice or something like that. She wore a, I don't know what this should say. I don't know what this should say. I don't know what this should say.
If you've been around teenagers, this is exactly how they act. They're not faking. They're being sounded out. Oh, did you know that in America they don't teach phonics anymore? Some states are going back to phonics where they teach you to sound out words so you can pronounce them. But we've abandoned phonics years ago. So the kids it's basically like they see the word, they don't even know how to make the su and ulet and you know what I'm saying, the sounds. They don't know how to sound it out anymore. So a lot of states are going back to phonics-based learning when it comes to reading. We abandoned it. Just like we tried to abandon traditional math for Common Core.
I can't read it. Can't read it. Can't read it. Cancel back.
The beneficiary tried to ambush the extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I don't even know.
Dude, UCLA students. This gotta be fake. I don't even want to believe this is true. Hey, Samira, come in here. I want to see if you can read. I want to see if my daughter can read this. Because, look, I got to hold my own kid accountable too, bro. I can't just bash these kids. And because, you know, mine, the difference is if mine can't read it, she going to be on Dr. Seuss all night. You know what I'm saying? Hey, come here. Lean in a little bit. Come here. I need you to Can you read this sentence? Can you read this sentence, tall person? Can you read this sentence?
The beneficiary tried to embellish the extortion scheme.
What does that mean? What does the whole sentence mean? Oh,
I'm
Lord.
not even gonna lie, I don't know what the word embellish means.
Oh, God. Be God. You're no longer Tucker. But even if you look at it, you can kind of figure out what it means based on the words around it.
Yeah.
The beneficiary tried to the extortion scheme.
I'm
So
assuming embellish means to like get rid of, or something on the lines of get rid of or prevent.
you're wrong. You're wrong, dude. Hey, and she has like a 4.0. Our schools are failing us. I'm telling you. Embellish is like exaggerate, like add more layers, make it deeper than it really was type shit. Like I could be wrong. I'm not smart. Let me see. Let's all learn what embellish means. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Embellish means to make more attractive by adding ornaments or colors, add details to, or make more beautiful. Yeah, exaggerate. Basically make it appear to be something better. That's what he tried to make it sound like it's deeper. Like when somebody talk about a fight, yeah, I was whooping his ass and da-da-da. Yeah, exaggerate. That's what I said initially. Yeah, to make it more than. So you guys now know what that means, right? But you want me to tell you what's funny? How do your kids learn? When you're a parent, you look at flaws in your kids, like whatever they do, and you give like an immediate correction. Hey, dumbass, that doesn't mean this. That's what this means, right? That's your job as a parent. But because most parents they're dumb, they won't even teach their kid if they know that their kid is wrong. Most parents won't even challenge their kid. We live in a world where someone will say, me making my daughter read that publicly is a form of abuse. How dare you make her show her literacy publicly, you chauvinist? You're just a product of the patriarchy, right? We literally do everything in this society to keep people from being challenged. But we're like America. We're like working hard to make a society of like unimpressive, unremarkable people, so that the noobs and the losers can feel better about themselves, right? If I can't read, the answer is not to learn how to read. The answer is to basically condemn anyone who knows how to read for calling attention to the fact that I don't know how to read. That's how we approach things in our society, right? I talk bad about my daughter too. What are you talking about? My daughter didn't know one word and I'll talk bad about her. She read through this bitch with no problem. My daughter, like, even though I don't know what that shit mean, I at least know word recognition. She read through this. She didn't even know what embellished meant. And she still understood the pronunciation. She read it as if she knew what it meant. That's the point. It's a lot of things you read that you don't know what the words mean. The point is, can you recognize the word and read it? We can go get, I'm not even being hypocritical. Man, shut up, Mr. Black on everything. I'm not being hypocritical at all. My daughter didn't know the meaning of the word embellished, and I was like, you're not a Tucker, you're banished. I was like, get out of here, right? But then I explained to her what the word means. Then I freaking looked it up so we could make sure we were accurate. The problem is that chick's probably tooting her butt up on Instagram every day. At least I know my daughter ain't doing that and running around and can't read. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, even if you don't know the meaning of every word, you need to know how to read. Because if you don't know how to read, how do you even learn what the word means? You can't read the definition of the word. I did talk about my own kid. I talk bad about my own kid all the time. I talk bad about my nephews, cousins, and everything else all the time. Anybody can get it, dude. Any man can get it. But with my daughter, I'm like, yo, at least she could read the sentence.
Scheme?
What does that mean?
I don't even know.
This is the part where she was gonna fail.
I can't say that. Try to
This is fake.
English the
This is fake.
extortion scheme.
What does that mean?
I don't know. The university student procured an off-campus accommodation via the platform Unishack. Unishack does that?
Wait. So we know what I'm talking about. So without further ado, get into it.
So I say all that to say this. We got this guy, right, who is a teacher at public schools. And bro is basically breaking down because he's realizing that the little nigglets that he teaches every day are illiterate. And my question is, you a teacher, you just now finding this out? Or you out here attention seeking online by throwing your kids under the bus?
So I am on my lunch break. It is, I don't know, 11:30 or something like that. And
boy, if the kids can't read, you shouldn't even be taking a lunch break. You should be working overtime to get them up to speed.
I just finished a 3-hour class. We have what's called block, and block is where first and second periods are combined for subjects that need it. And so I literally broke down in the middle of class because I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish.
Why would you want to send these bums to college? That's the problem. If you can't read, right? If you can't read, why are you trying to push these kids to college? You should be pushing them towards a library or to Dr. Seuss. Hop on Pop. Green Eggs and Ham, Sam I Am. I do not like them, Sam I Am. I do not like green eggs and ham. I'm going to go to my daughter tomorrow and be like, what does embellish mean? I mean, on her about that for like ever. I'm probably going to bring that up at her wedding if she ever gets married. Why? This is the problem, though. The teachers are just passing the kids along. My seniors don't know how to read at a third grade level, but they'll be in college next semester. Stupid. The literal definition of insanity.
Yeah, the way that these tears are flowing, I don't think they're going anywhere near college. But then again, there are some colleges that will accept these individuals because, you know,
they want the money.
Nowadays, the standards for getting college aren't really that more money they make. So,
one sentence, complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the mind.
But that's the problem. I basically completed the sentences for them. What this idiot doesn't understand is that that's what's been happening their whole academic life since they were in kindergarten. The teachers don't want to teach, so they just say, we'll do it for you. We'll do it for you. And then they get to the 12th grade and you shocked that they don't know how to do shit. Like, even my daughter with her mom. Sometimes I have to tell her, yo, back the fuck up. Let her do it on her own. Because if I don't, it's like she'll do it, try to do everything for her. And I get it. That's how moms are. But at some point, you have to let the kids figure it out on their own. Some point, you got to punish them when they're not focusing enough. I know me, I used to get my ass beat if I messed up on a word. I'm talking about shit, stick, extension cord, whatever. I get my ass annihilated. And you know what that taught me? Don't mess up. Learn them words. You better know the meaning of them words. And like my girl said right here, Erica said, you better know how to use it in a sentence. I remember my granny used to get the spoon out on your knuckles. Hold your damn knuckles out. Now spell resuscitation. Fuck up and see what happens. You gonna be in that bitch like a bruised baboon licking your damn knuckles. I didn't get no spelling test wrong, none. Because I'm like, you guys lost your allowance if you got this word wrong. I got my ass hammered if I got that word wrong. Boy, I knew how to spell them words. Ooh, Lord. Ooh, Lord. I never, I'm telling you, I never failed a spelling test. Because I had a test before the test. And it was under fire. It was the lightning round. But we don't do that with our kids no more. Everything's abuse. Everything is some type of trauma. And I'm like, there's good trauma. But as I like to say, save the trauma for your mama. This dude is traumatizing me with his crybaby ass.
An 18-year-old kid, and they couldn't fill in 4 words.
He basically gave you the answer. He gave an answer. The kid so dumb. They still couldn't get the answer.
Hey, but I bet you they all over TikTok, booties up in the air. You know what I'm saying? I bet you they're going to be able to read the street signs to make it downtown for the takeover tonight. These kids know how to learn because they can learn to do crime. But when you're doing everything for them, they have no incentive to learn.
4 words.
4 words.
I gave them the scenario. We annotated together. I gave them the answers before we even had the problem.
See, but the problem here is, and I hate to keep interrupting it, years ago, when they started the standardized testing bullshit, teachers started teaching for the test. They ceased to be teachers, and they just started trying to do this like word recognition crap. It became all about memorization, not education. So if a teacher was like, you know, when you watch one of those old movies and the kid is like a street tough, a thug, right? You know, like the teacher's like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Damien? Why you so angry? Yo, teach, I'm mad because I can't read. I can't read the words on the front of the pack of Oreos. Like, I'm dumb as fuck. The teacher used to be able to say, all right, guys, fuck the curriculum. We are going to dedicate the remainder of this movie to teaching Damien how to read. Right? They'd be like, we're going to dedicate the next 2 hours of this movie to teaching Damien how to read and teaching little Miklo how to do math. You saw the movie Stand and Deliver. Great movie, by the way. And then they would thus teach the kid how to read, right? Now, the teacher's like, we got a test in 2 weeks. I don't got time to teach this nigga how to read. The teacher's like, I'm gonna let that dude fail. So I can help the kids who can read pass the state test. So the kids are like barely crawling past the state test, which most of them are failing that. And there's no time for the teachers to fill in the gaps in their education. So the kids fell on the standardized test, and the teacher's like, I got to work harder to teach them how to pass the test. Meanwhile, nothing's actually being learned. That's the whole problem. Standardized testing has ushered in a culture, has created a culture. Let's use a creative word. Has induced has ushered in a culture of basically miseducation. You're not learning anything. It's in other communities too, DJs, but in our community, it's the most apparent. Why? Because Black people fought tooth and nail for the ability to read. That's why it hits harder in the Black community. Because there are those of us in history who died just for the right to learn how to read. Right, Erica? Propagated, right? Facilitated, right? We use all our big words. We ain't dumb like our kids and shit. But they're throughout our history, we fought so much to learn to read and be able to read, to now see how we've just totally just said F it when it comes to literacy is crazy work. And the wild thing is, what about the parents? They're like, he don't need to know how to read to go down to the store and use my EBT card. All he needs to know is the 4-digit PIN. All he needs to know is the 4-digit PIN. What's the code? What's the code to the card, mama? WMDA. Where my daddy at? I'm sorry. No offense to none of y'all who don't know who y'all daddy is, but that shit was funny. It just popped in my head random as hell. But this guy, let's go back to this dude crying.
And they couldn't do it.
Hey.
I don't know. I simply don't know where the problem is.
I do. Again, the parents first and foremost, but
he's a teacher. He's a teacher, and he cannot identify the problem that is leading to his children in his school not being able to read, which is crazy work.
Again, let's be honest. Some of these kids are just really dumb, right? I'm just saying.
This is only day 2. And I have seniors who simply cannot read and seniors who cannot write. They cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning. If it's talking to their homeboy.
No, they don't. See what I'm saying? He's doing what most Black teachers do. He's creating a false narrative. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reason. No, they don't. No, they don't. These niggas can't defend nothing they doing. Go to have a 5-minute conversation to them and ask them why they wearing their pants hanging off of their ass. There is no Black man in America who could explain to you the benefit of hanging his pants off his ass, but they're all doing it. They can't defend shit. You see it every day on these little clips and stuff. Oh, I'm for socialism. Okay, tell us like why? I don't know. And a lot of people on these videos be Black, bro. He's just literally, he's a bad teacher, DJs. I'm telling you. He's a bad teacher because he's convinced himself of something that just is not true. Those kids are dumb. They lack critical thinking skills because if they had those type of skills, they would come to the realization like, yo, I need to be able to read.
But applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs.
Yeah. So they can't reason, right?
They can't. I never watched this video before.
They can't reason outside of a hood conversation, right?
Right. And if they argue with their homeboys, it's going to erupt into a fight, most likely. You don't have to explain shit in the hood. Black people are the number one group where people will be promoting or perpetuating an entire narrative with absolutely no evidence or ability to back it up. You got Black folks talking about we Native American, we got Cherokee in our family, cannot prove it, can't explain it, none of that. They heard it, they regurgitated it, and that's the law and truth for them. This is just a fact. We literally can't defend like any of our ideas. Bro, why are you, I'll ban this nigga. But we can't defend any of our ideas. Black people can't even explain to you why they still voting Democrat. As a group, we are told what to do. And the only explanation for why we should do something is, yeah, because you got to be scared of what the other guy might do if he get in. No explanation. No critical thinking necessary. We vote Democrat because we scared. Scared of what? I don't know, but we scared of it. This guy's delusional. Can he
intelligence, right? It is what it is.
And they couldn't do it. Our young Black men, our young brown men, our young Black girls, and our young brown girls.
Man, stop with the crybaby shit.
Oh, God.
Wow. That's wild. That is really, really, really wild. Hey, I'm speechless.
I'm not.
I don't really know what to say. I mean, at this point, it is what it is. Again, I blame the parents, right? I blame the culture. And, honestly, here's the thing, man. These people run around talking about income inequality, this, that, and the other. Again, what really skyrockets income inequality is the intelligence gap. What they really should be worried about is intelligence inequality, right? Start worried about the wealth gap. Start worried about the intelligence gap, okay? Because if you are of average intelligence going into the future and you actually know how to use AI, right? You basically have a superpower, right? Like you are going to have an advantage over a lot of people, okay? I'm telling you, if you're of average intelligence and you know how to use AI to ask the right questions, which means that you need to know how to use logic. You need to have basic. There's a lot. I mean, that's the reality. You can read and write.
Anyway, so Greg, I'm done with that video. But here's the thing: the guy's just a liar. They know how to reason. They know how to think. No, they don't. We tell ourselves that to make ourselves feel better. I don't know where I went wrong. I started at a young age. I mean, I took her to all the libraries and stuff. I mean, what more do you want from me? What? What more do you want from me? Hey, my daughter got no excuse, bro. No excuse. She just messed up. She just messed up, bro. Look, books with words. I'm talking about, I'm getting off work, bro. I'm reading fucking Blueberries for Sal, bro. I did it. But like, let's be real. It's on the parents. The parents have to value education, fam. You are focused on a victim of Stockholm syndrome, not the godless fucks that hate us all. Shut your ass up, Kira, whatever, Karantha Core. Bro, listen, this is like you saying, you focused on all the monkeys. Bro, I am a monkey. What else do monkeys focus on other than other monkeys? Right? Like, if I could do it, if millions and millions of Black people around the country can do it, teach their kids and their kids get out and get an education and go to college and stuff, why can't these people's parents do it? It's got nothing to do with the white man. It's all about whether or not the parents want their children to have an education. That's what it's about. I wanted my kid to have an education, right? So when I got off work and I was dog tired, and my daughter, Dad, can you read me a book? I mean, she didn't learn nothing from it. Obviously, she don't know what embellish means. But I still took the time to do it. That's what it's about. I still took the time to go to the bookstore, pay fucking ridiculous amounts of money for these books and stuff, so my daughter could read them and learn, right? That's all that matters. Your dad, listen, even if your daddy is in prison, he could still read to you. You know how I know? Because my dad's in prison. He don't read to me, but I'm sure he could if he wanted to. The prisoners don't even have to pay for their phone calls no more. You could just say, baby, every night I'm going to call and I'm going to read the kids a story. We won't even do that, bro. We won't even do that. But what we will do is make a bunch of damn excuses. That's what we will do. We're not worried about literacy, right? We're not worried about the literacy of our children, right? We're worried about shaking ass and who Cardi B about to sleep with next. Who Orlando Brown beat up this weekend in the celebrity boxing. That's what we're focused on. We're worried about the DEI fraud professor. Oh, I do eat good, that's for sure. Right? Right? We worried about whether the DEI professor is getting his proper he's getting his proper respect. Right? That's what we do. I've always been a person, and I'm gonna tell you, I don't just focus on my kid. All the kids in my family, I took the time out to be their uncle, took the time out, to sit with them and spend time with them and stuff. But I have enough time to help my kid and niece and my nephews and all that, and nieces and stuff. You ain't got time to just sit down and read with your kid for 10 minutes a night? Let's be real. Black people do everything they want to do. So at a certain point, we're going to have to accept the fact that the reason we're not doing it is because we don't want to do it. And the minute you admit that and stop saying every mother's a good mother in this type of shit, you're going to start seeing improvement. Some people just don't give a damn about their kids being able to read, right? Some people just don't care. And we got to be real about that, because the minute you realize that they don't care, the minute you'll step up and start doing something, right? Oh, you remember that pic? Shut up, ugly. These fools are actually sitting right here right now. But they like, take that down. But they were little. They're big now. Maurice, you look like such a dork. This nigga look like he looked like Deshaun Raw. You know that one dude, Super High Five? You look just like bro. You look dead like bro. But I'm just telling y'all, like, you gotta care enough to help your kid be successful. If you don't, and then when the kid, robbing me in 10 years, oh, let him out on cashless bail. He never had a chance. Shit. He don't deserve a chance. Damn, mama didn't want to give him a chance. These people are a mess, dude. I'm telling you. I am telling you. This teacher literally was crying. But I have no, there's two groups of people I have no remorse for. And those people are teachers and nurses. And I tell you, I have no remorse for them. During COVID, when the teachers helped the government fuck our kids over, because they wanted to go on vacation and work from exotic destinations, right? Because that's what they was doing. The teachers tried to keep our kids on remote learning, right? The teachers tried to keep our kids on remote learning they wanted to keep them like an extra 2 years due to COVID, learning remote, so that they could work remote and they could go around the world and teach from different locations. During COVID, I spent a lot of time in Africa. And I would just be out at the local spots, right? Eating or whatever. And I said, why am I seeing so many Black Americans here? Was not normal. But every Black American female I ran into in Kenya, in Africa, was a teacher. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a school teacher. What you teach? Oh, I teach the 3rd grade. I'm like, 3rd grade teacher from America in Africa. Oh, yeah, because of COVID, we doing all remote. So I just flew out here and I've been living out here for the past year. I remember I was at the Giraffe Center. I met this lady. She was from DC, Black chick, young, probably about 27, 28. I'm just kind of shocked because she just by herself rolling around, right? And I'm like, are you like visiting out here? She's like, no, I live out here now. And so the first thing you ask, like, how are you living out here and still like making money? And she's like, oh, I'm a school teacher in DC. And she's like, because of remote learning, I can live here. As long as I got a good Wi-Fi connection, I could teach the kids with the laptop, the school provided laptops, whatever she was using. And I realized, I said, these teachers tried to keep our kids on remote learning so they could go on an extended vacation and live in other countries. And teachers was doing this shit in Thailand and everywhere else, while they get paid an American wage for not educating our children. And they tried to extend the remote learning. So you think I feel sorry for this bumbaclut over here on this damn video? I don't. Because he got gray in his beard, so I'm sure he's been teaching since back then. They screwed our children. And now they're shocked. Oh my God, they don't know how to read. Bro, yes. These were the kids who were in the 6th and 7th grade when you were screwing them over because you wanted to go on an extended vacation during COVID. And now they've reached high school, they're seniors, and you trying to fake cry talking about they can't read. They've done government studies that prove that the COVID remote stuff hurt our kids. And kids weren't even 99.999% of kids weren't even affected by COVID. Oh, sorry. They wronged our children, bro. They didn't screw. They wronged our children, y'all. Yeah, a lot of kids' grades improved during the lockdowns because the teachers were just giving out A's. Let me tell you, Azazel, they gave out fake grades so that they could justify continuing with the remote learning, bro. That's what that was. Teachers are complicit. Just like the nurses who was crying, oh my God, get the shot. And now all this bad stuff is coming out about, what was going on surrounding the C-19. And where are those nurses now? They're like, we were just told to cry and make videos on TikTok. It's just it's crazy. But guys, I'm going to end it right there. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Tomorrow we're up bright and early, 8 a.m. I always say that, right? And then I never do it. But tomorrow I'm doing it. Tomorrow we are up bright and early, 8 a.m. for the morning show. I'm going to be hitting the morning show all week. Like I told you, I'm going to travel soon. So I would need y'all to be locked in with your boy. And I'm going to make sure I give y'all some footage from my travels. I might put all the travel stuff in the members only. So if you're not a member, become a member so you can get all the travel videos. I'm going to put all the travel stuff in the members only. The live show will still be normal. But all the travel stuff, if I do something exotic, it will be in the members only. Thank you so much for watching this show. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Stop feeling sorry for it and defending these grifters. Stop feeling sorry for these teachers. They failed our children, and now they're trying to make videos to make it seem like it's somebody else's fault. Bro should have been an actor the way he was crying on that damn camera. Looking like whatever that dude's name who played in Amistad. Thank y'all so much. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, do me a favor. Take care of each other. Peace.